America is a nation built on immigrants. In the last century, over 45 million immigrants came to this country from all around the world. Portuguese Americans are no different. They began arriving here in relatively large numbers in the late 19th century and have continued since. In the tri-state area, they have mainly settled in the city of Newark. This is a story about one of those families, my family. To most people, Newark is known for its international airport, but to my family, it was once home. Antonio Batista, my grandfather, grew up in a small town of Lagoa Azul Sintra, located right outside Lisbon. At the age of 37, he decided to come to the United States in hopes to find better opportunity and give his family a better life. A tough decision because it meant being separated from his wife and 11-year-old daughter.
Decidi vir para a América porque amigo meu sabia que eu queria emigrar para a Alemanha e disse que eu queria ir para a Alemanha. E eu disse-lhe a ele, não, ainda se fosse para a América. E ele perguntou-me, quando é que queres ir para a América? E então ele é que resolveu, e arranjou-me o visto e eu vim para a América. Cheguei aqui a uma quarta-feira, na quinta fui à imigração tirar o Social Security, que é o mesmo que tenho hoje. Na sexta comecei a trabalhar.
For my grandmother, leaving Portugal was a difficult choice.
Quando recebi a carta de chamada do teu pai, e tive que vir mesmo, não é? Porque por minha vontade não vim.
Não querias vir?
Não.
Porquê?
Porque não queria vir, gosto de estar em Portugal, gosto do meu país. Mas depois vim para cá e estive sempre bem, andei a trabalhar em fábricas, numa fábrica.
Com 37 anos, trabalhei até aos 63, à altura que tive que parar, porque tenho glaucoma nas duas vistas, sou pintor de automóveis e não podia exercer a profissão. Nunca fui ao employer a receber um centavo e nunca pedi um dia de trabalho na minha vida.
This is where my grandfather's auto body shop used to be, but today it's the parking lot of the Prudential Center, the home of the New Jersey Devils hockey team. He was lucky enough to find a job and with the help of some friends, a small one-bedroom apartment. Even still, he was a long way from home and he was not prepared for what he was about to encounter.
Foi, terríveis. O tempo nunca mais passava. Procurava legalizar-me o mais rapidamente possível e paguei o advogado naquela altura mais caro, que era para ser mais depressa, mas mesmo assim demorou com 2 anos naquele tempo. Sim, muito. Principalmente a minha mulher e a minha filha, aquilo que eu mais adorei na vida. Escrevi-lhe dia sim, dia não, durante 2 anos. E por isso marcou muito na vida.
Despite missing her father, my mother, Paula Freitas, was not thrilled with the idea of leaving Portugal to move to the United States.
I cried and told him he was nuts and there was no way I was ever going to leave. And then he left, and then I knew he was serious, so then I kept hoping that at some point he would change his mind and say that he was coming back. And I kept going through school just in denial, hoping that I never would have to make that transition.
Unlike my mother, my father, Rui Freitas, was excited about moving to the U.S.
I was about 10 when they came to the United States, and then I stayed with my grandmother, and we stayed there for a year until our parents called us to come to the U.S. I was happy to come here. All I could think was about the big buildings and the big cities, and when I arrived, it was totally different from what I had envisioned.
Within probably 6-7 months, I was speaking English and communicating, and I didn't feel that I had a problem. The only problem I felt that I had was that I missed my life in Portugal terribly. I missed my friends. We had no family here. We still don't. It was just my parents and myself. And perhaps if I had a sibling, maybe it would have been a little easier. But on the other hand, because I didn't have any siblings, I made friends with everybody, and I was, just knew everybody that was anybody. And I came and I went to 2 months of 7th grade, and then 8th grade, and then freshman, sophomore, junior year. By junior year in high school, I was vice president of my class.
The home of the Red Raiders. Woohoo! This is where I learned how to speak English.
And by the beginning of my 8th grade, I was speaking English pretty fluently. So I didn't really have any problems. It was just that I missed my life terribly. I missed my friends, and I missed everyone really bad. That was really my only issue, being here.
At the beginning, yes. I went to school, 4th grade, and it was mostly, I would say probably about 90% of the school was black, and there might have been 1 or 2 kids that spoke Portuguese, and I didn't speak English at the time, so I was a little afraid, yes. I was afraid that, I just didn't understand. It took me roughly about 6 months before I actually started, understanding and speaking the language. But, I did very well as far as, the schoolwork. I did very well.
Learning English wasn't as important for my grandmother because she remained within the Portuguese immigrant community.
Não. Eu tinha a minha filha que me ensinava, que me falava por mim quando tinha que ir a algum lado. E pronto. E foi. Nas compras, e onde vou hoje ainda, praticamente, não é a mesma loja, mas faz-se conta, não precisava falar inglês.
Although they have moved back to Portugal, for my grandfather, America is still a big part of his life.
Pai, eu adoro, mas isso, venho cá todos os anos, 4, 5 meses, para matar as saudades. A minha esposa, como não fala nada inglês, prefere viver lá. E eu, como um bom marido, como prezo, acompanho-a e estou sempre com ela, ao lado dela, para acompanhá-la até à morte.
Moving to a foreign country wasn't easy for my grandfather, but he knew that in the long run it would provide a better life for my family.
I think my parents came here because of me. They came here because they wanted to give me a better life. My father worked very, very hard, and my mom did too, and life was very challenging, very difficult at that time. Portugal was the fastest country before, when my dad came here, and even before I came here, they only had the revolution after we were here. And life was difficult, and he just wanted to give me everything, and because of that, he made that choice to come here and leave everything. And it was something that I'm forever grateful for, because they literally lifted up, picked up and moved 3,000 miles to a foreign country, to a place where they didn't know the language, to provide for me. So I'm very fortunate.
Rapazes da Figueirada,